What's up, people? Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best quasi new metal podcast from two dudes who are really there. I'm one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow. With you, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how we doing?
Great.
Are you drinking
Doing
vodka?
good.
Because I'm drinking vodka.
I am. I sure
I got
am.
to tell you, man, when I have a vodka or two and then I go to upstairs, like life is just more mellow. Like it's just more mellow. Like I was sitting there the one night we finished early, and by the way, people, Tim and I record during the week, and I'm sitting there reading a book, and I'm like, why do I feel so like blissed out? And I'm like, oh, because I drank a fucking bunch of vodka. I just feel better about myself.
I love it.
Take that for
Fuck
what it
beer.
is.
I hate beer.
I oh well, here's the thing. I love beer, but I get too full, and then my stomach gets fucked up, and I get a headache because I don't drink Nancy Light. It's like
Oh
stouts
yeah.
and porters and like the heavy stuff. But anyway, I digress. So, what are we talking about this week, everybody? So this week, this is a surprise topic. Tim doesn't even know what we're talking about. For those of you that we haven't talked about this before, Tim and I typically plan out our agendas a couple weeks in advance so we know going in what we're coming to. And I texted him at about 5 o'clock today, 6 o'clock, and I said, "Hey, man, I have a topic we're going to talk about. No prep needed. Don't worry about it." So this is a total surprise. It's a total surprise. So if this episode is a complete fucking disaster, it is my fault. Just throw it out there. It's my fault. Don't blame Tim. Blame me. So the tentative top title for this episode is Third Time's the Charm. So, Tim, we've talked about bands when they record their albums, right? You can never match the intensity of your first album. You're young, you're hungry, you have all that creativity, all that pent up aggression, whatever, whatever. It comes out in that first album. And then it comes time to do your second album. And we've talked about this. Most bands kind of do more of the same, right? It's leftover material from the first album. It's rough ideas that they didn't have a time to get onto the first one, goes on to the second one. And maybe they get a little weird. Maybe they experiment a little, but they typically don't shy too far from the course, right?
Okay.
As opposed to AC/DC, which has made the same album 16 times. God bless them. Bless up, move on. But then we get to the third album. And bands that get to the third album, okay, so your aggression and anger is out from you being younger, right? Typically, this is 3, 4, 5 years into your career. You've done the second album, which could have been your experimental album, or it could have been just more of the same. If it was more of the same, this is where you're starting to feel your oats, especially with a modicum of success and going, hey, maybe we should do something a little bit different. Let's kind of stretch where we go. Or a band says, fuck it, we're going to keep doing what we're doing because it works. Again, AC/DC. So what we're going to do this week is I have a list of, I think it's around 25 albums that were band's third major label release. A major label is king.
Major label.
Major. It's a third major label release. And what Tim and I are going to do is we're going to talk about them, and then Tim and I are going to each decide, is it a stud or a dud? Is it a
All right.
stud or a dud? So before we even go in, Tim, who do you think is going to have more studs? Who's going to have more duds?
What do you mean?
So when we sum these
Oh,
at the
oh,
end,
you
out of
mean between me
25
and you?
total, between me and you, am I going to have more studs or more duds? And what are you going to have more of?
I'll probably have more duds.
Probably, probably.
Yeah.
You have a more discerning ear than I do.
Yeah.
But then again, there are some of these where you and I are going to digress. When I look at this list, there's a bunch that I don't think we're going to have the same opinion on. So I think it's going to be a fairly interesting conversation. So we
All
ready?
right. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to
Do
start
it.
us off with an easy one. This is probably the easiest album we could think of when it comes to a band's third album on a major label. Tim, if you had to guess, what is the ultimate gimme band third album stud or dud question? Not just new metal. Think the
What are the
ultimate.
genres here?
Oh, I cover everything. I cover industrial. I cover new metal. I cover hardcore and R metal, like metal.
A third album from some band that you're thinking of?
What is the easiest one to start off this conversation with? The most I'll give you a hint. The most almost universally agreed upon monster of a third album by a heavier music act.
Dude, there's so many I could think. I don't know.
I'll give you a hint.
Uh, Mushroom Head?
Master of Puppets.
Oh.
Master of Puppets. Third, and so this is their third album, right? Hit the lights. Not hit the
Oh,
lights.
now I get
Kill
why you're doing that. Okay.
kill them all. And then Ride the Lightning. Some people would argue Ride the Lightning is better than Master of Puppets. I go back and forth. But at this point, they have hit stride, right? They got rid of the punk influence stuff that was on Kill 'Em All. They started to feel into their more songsmanship, craftsmanship in Ride the Lightning, and now we end up with Master Puppets, right? Which I would argue is probably their best album.
Well, in my opinion, their best record is the Black Record.
Okay,
So,
okay,
what was beef after Master? Was it the White and Justice for
Justice,
All?
Justice for All.
And then it was Black, right? Uh, See, this is hard for me because I am self-admittedly not a really big Metallic fan at all. Like, I don't even
Okay,
listen. I don't honestly do not even listen to them records at all. I don't
no
listen to Kill
shit.
'Em All. I don't listen to Ride the Lightning. I don't listen to Master. I don't listen to any of them, honestly.
You start with the Black Album,
I mean, I heard them records before that album,
right?
but like to me, the Black record, I just
So when
love the
I say
production on it.
Tim, put on Metallica, you're going to the Black Album.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm
I and
skipping the track 2 on the Black record, and I'm going from there.
I would love to hear from our watchers, from our listeners. Is this due to age? Right? Because I'm older than you. So I got into Metallica this is before Injustice was out. I was a kid. This is before Black Album was out. Justice was the most recent release. I thought Master Puppets was one of the greatest things I've ever heard recorded. So this could be one of those examples where our ages and our different experiences come into play.
Yeah, I mean when I think of the Black record, it's there's just so many bangers on there. Like a lot of people are like, "How can you like that record and not the other three?" It's not that I don't like them. It's just I don't really care to listen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
Like
it.
if I hear the songs, I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, cool." Like I would go see them live because it's fucking Metallica. But like I can't say it's a dud because I don't listen to it. You know what I mean? I can't
Right.
say it's a dud because people will be like, "That's unfair," and it is. It would be unfair, but
Right.
like to me, I mean, the Black Record's just their best record.
So would you say it's a stud or a dud? A stud?
I mean, for what it is, it's a stud because
Okay.
it's. I mean, they wouldn't be who they were if it wasn't for people loving that band. Let's get that 100
Yeah.
fucking percent correct.
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So yeah,
did get
I'll give it
tickets.
stud because it's I see the influence of that band and that record, all them records, honestly. I mean, dude, fucking 50 years from now, that record's going to be still selling.
The Kill 'Em All cover is iconic in the sense of it has been ripped off and redone by so many different bands.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of simple if you think about it. Oh, I did get tickets to both shows in Philly.
Yeah, I don't know which one we're going to. I think it's I keep
The
telling them I'm
Friday or
like,
the
let's do the
Sunday?
limp. I keep telling them to do the biscuit
Friday
one,
night.
but then
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't miss Pantera.
Dude, I will tell you, I got a pair for both nights. So I got a pair on Friday, same seats on Saturday. I'm in like the 220 section, which is right in the middle, nosebleed, right in the middle. And with
Where's it at again?
220, I think it is.
No, no,
So
no.
if you the
Where's the show
link,
at
the
again?
link.
Oh, the link. That's right.
So if you
Okay.
picture the link, it's in the upper level, but it's right in the middle. And they play in the round, so it really doesn't matter. With fees and all that stuff, it was five something for four tickets, which isn't bad. It's about 100 something bucks a show,
Yeah, that's not
which
bad.
isn't bad at all.
Yeah, it's like 130 a ticket or
But
something.
I'm like, I have to go see Friday because it's Limp Bizkit, and I really want to see Pantera again. So why don't I just do a package for both? And then I'm taking my nephew on Sunday who's never seen Metallica. So I'm like, it'll be a fun time, man. Trust me. Like they put
What,
on a good show.
when is it again?
It is, I think it's around Memorial Day weekend. It's
Oh,
that
okay. Yeah,
Friday and
yeah.
that Sunday.
I'll take off Monday and I'll definitely go Sunday. We'll see about Friday.
I want to see Limp Bizkit again. Like
I
whatever.
know it's
Whatever.
hard, but I can't miss Pantera. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna go solidly into new metal. Third album by this band, Korn. Follow the Leader.
I think that's a stud, man. I love that record. That's got some
Mm,
fucking bangers on it, man. Like Dead Bodies Everywhere. That's a great song. Justin,
mm.
Freak on a I mean, Got the Life is a fucking great track. That's a stud for me.
I'm gonna make it a dud, and here's why. So I love the first two albums, and we like for the reasons I talked about, the raw emotion, the aggression, right? Like the we talked about Life is Peachy is basically the self-titled 1.5. It's not a second album. This I get where they were going. They were trying to get more commercial. Like, and the first four songs, like It's On, Got the Life, I think it's Freak on a Leash, like whatever. Amazing. But then the album for me falls off a cliff. Like I love Seed. Um I think Cameltosis has its place, but
Yeah.
it didn't do. This was them getting big and mainstream, and I get it. God bless. They're still touring, still making money. God bless them. Just not for me. Not for me.
I see why you think that. A lot of people think the record after that is better, which is what Issues.
Was it Issues or Untouchables? I think it was Issues.
I think it's Issues, which I
Yes.
honestly listened to that not too long ago, and I kind of enjoyed it. Not gonna lie, I was like, it's pretty good actually. I
Eh,
mowed the lawn one day. I was like, let me put on something I don't listen to for all the time. I
it's
listened to that and was like, cool.
there's a what was I gonna say? There's a couple of songs on each album, Issues, Untouchables, which aren't bad.
Yeah.
Like they're not really bad. Issues wasn't bad. It was just Issues to me was them trying to get back towards the more aggressive side of what they were doing, and it just didn't there was too many holes. Too many holes.
No, I see. Yeah, I mean the later half of that record's terrible, honestly.
Yeah,
But like the first half of it, I was pleasantly surprised. So I was like, I remember these tracks now.
yeah. I Man, I'm not gonna piss a whole bunch of people off, but yeah, it doesn't really. When I went back and listened to it, I think we did a deep dive on it. It was good, but I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it ever again.
Yeah, I mean once in a while I'll put on the some of the tracks from Foul Ear, but I'll give that a stud because I do think it's got more moments than it does failures for me.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, now I gotta. This is probably an easy one. Um, Pantera, the Great Southern Trend Kill.
Ah, come on, dude. That's a
Was this their best
absolute stud.
album?
It's hard, dude. It's so hard. I think we talked about this before, and like, I love fucking Trendkill. I think reinventing the steel is great.
There are
It's hard,
definitely
dude.
some moments of the haters definitely did not appreciate reinventing the steel the way they should have.
But Pantera's third record is not Trendkill though.
Well, it far beyond was it Forward Display of Power, Far Beyond Driven,
No, it's
Trend Kill.
Cowboys from Hell.
Holy shit, I totally fucked that one up.
Yeah, it's Cowboys. Then it's fucking
I forgot about Cowboys from Hell. So it's Cowboys
yeah,
from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power. Okay, so not Trend Kill, but Far Beyond
Far
Driven.
Beyond
The answer
Driven.
is yes, it's a stud.
That's a
This is their
fucking
best album.
absolutely. You think?
Oh, 100%. Now I love um where they went with Trendkill. It got slower and it got moodier. And that opening track is a fucking monster. Suicide Note Part 2 has one of the
Oh
best
yeah.
breakdowns ever recorded. But Bloods and Tens, you could again, Phil's talked about he was in the throes of heroin addictions, and that coupled with the fact that they're from Texas, he lives in New Orleans, right? That sludgy Soylent Green, I Hate God, Crowbar sound, it can't help but seep into, even if you're doing it as a side project, it can't help but seep into your main project. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I
That's a
I
they're both studs.
I love Trendkill, but I think Far Beyond Driven is what a fucking monster of an album. Even you could swap out the B sides. You could swap out the B side and the A side, and it would still be a monster of an album.
Absolutely.
Still,
That's a perfect record.
yeah, it really is good. Man, I fucked that one up. God, I hope I don't fuck the rest of these one up. Okay, so moving along from Pantera, now I'm wondering if this is the right one. POD. Is it
Um
Satellite or is it the fundamental elements of Southtown? Because they had Snuff the Punk. That was their first album. And then I think they did one after that, didn't they? Somewhere Scribble is listening to us and screaming.
yeah, right. You should have probably looked.
I did do my research, but man, I guess not well enough. Yes, they did. The second album was Brown. So Snuff the Punk was 94. and Brown was 96, and and then the first true album is Fundamental Elements of Southtown.
Well, for going off of that one, that's a great record.
But then I can also argue that if we're talking about major labels, like it wouldn't even be Satellite, it would be the POD, like the self-titled POD album, right? That Howard Benson did.
Let's do it for New Breed's sake. We're gonna go with Satellite.
Okay.
I'll
Um,
that's a great record, man. That the
yeah,
production on that record is great. I mean, fucking Alive is such a fucking good song.
that was the song I was playing when I got my first tattoo. I will never forget it.
Yeah, great fucking track. Yeah, it's a great record, man. That's
It
another
is.
stud for me.
It really is. I mean, it starts with Set It Off, Alive, Boom, Youth of the Nation, Celestial Satellite. That's your side. That's more than half of your side A. Yeah. Yeah.
They
This is
have
definitely a
a
stud.
there's a video out on YouTube. It's like a 4K concert of them from like 3, 4 years ago, and the shit sounds amazing, dude. They're a great band live too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for New
I think
Breed's
I've seen
sake,
them
we're gonna
once.
keep it at Satellite. Yeah, that's a great record, man.
Okay. Okay. Now we're going to step outside of new metal. We're going to go, and I'm really curious to hear what you say about this one because I think it's good. You're going to call it a Doug suit. I think you hate this band, Slayer, Rain and Blood.
All right, same with Metallica. I don't hate Slayer. I've seen Slayer fucking countless times. I own the DVDs, all that shit. I don't hate them. I think they're so overplayed, and I think that they're very over. What's the word? Overplayed, and they're very just everybody. It's like the end. They're like the end all be all band for like where I'm from. It's Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax are like, I know they're the big four, but like around here, it's like they're the end all be all for people. It's like them bands are nothing, and it's like no, dude. Like there's so many better bands than Slayer. I'm sorry. Like I'll take Testament any fucking day over any of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't hate Slayer. I think Kerry King's a fucking douchebag. He's his ego is so bad. I can't stand that shit. But Rain and Blood, no, great. It's a great record. Um, I prefer Diablos. I prefer, Divine Intervention or yeah, I prefer Divine Intervention, Diablos shit like that. I think
Mm-hmm.
their later stuff is way better than their older stuff, honestly.
So I'm on the fence. I loved Hell Awaits. Show No Mercy was never my thing. Their
No, I
first
don't like
album.
that. I couldn't stand that record.
I thought Hell Awaits was great. Rain and Blood was them going a full level of like it was faster, it was more aggressive, it was more insane, right? I never liked South of Heaven because I liked that faster stuff. I thought Seasons in the Abyss was very, very well done because they
That's a
mixed the
good
fast
record.
and the slow. Divine Intervention was them saying, fuck it, let's go back to Rain and Blood days. Dave Lombardo's gone, and I love Dave Lombardo, but we all know he's a little bit sloppy live. They
Yeah.
put Paul Bostaff behind the kit, Bostaff behind the kit, and they're like, yo, just blast away, dude. And it's nuts. It really is nuts. And I think for me, I checked out with God Hates Us All. I thought that album was great, and I was like, okay, I'm done now. I'm good.
Christ Illusion has some good songs on it. It's just like I just feel like people overvalue that band a lot, and it's just like, dude,
Well, they're omnipresent. They're everywhere, and you can't trip and fall in a heavy metal concert or in a conversation around metal. And but Tim, it's fans of a certain age. So our demographic talk about Slayer all the time. The younger kids, I would be very surprised. We should call Orion right now. Text him. He's probably trying to like build a hurricane shelter or whatever. Like,
oh
yo,
yeah,
Orion, does your generation listen to Slayer at all?
and I guarantee he's going to say no.
No, no, no. It's are they a
It's for
throwback
it's
band?
40-year olds that wear fucking flannels and boots all day, and
And metal
it's
and leather coats. Yep, leather
yeah. I
vests.
mean,
Yep,
it's don't get me
yep.
wrong, they're not a bad band. I just think that they're overvalued, and I think that they're one of them bands that's just like, all right, I get it, like. I get the importance of it, and same. It's the same feeling I just have with Metallica. It's like whatever, dude. Like there's just so many bands that do it better, in my opinion. But
Fair.
don't get me wrong, I know the importance of that. It's like me saying I don't listen to Sabbath, but I understand the importance of the band.
Right. Same, same. Or Bad Brains. Not a fan. I get it. I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
get it.
Okay, Dud.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I don't
Yeah,
listen
it's
to that
Dud.
shit. I mean,
All right, now let's go back to new metal.
Like if I
Pitch
have to hear
shift.
Angel of Death one more time, I might
Oh, I
fucking
could listen to
snap.
Angel of Death on repeat for eternity. It's a different age, man. Different age, different generation. We're all, not a different generation, but
You know what
almost.
aggravates me about Slayer fans is like when they yell Slayer, shut the fuck up.
I am Slayer is up there with Cannibal Corpse in the sense of they are the only band that you could. So it is socially acceptable to wear that band's merch to the show. I'm sorry. They're the only band. You could show up to a Slayer gig in a Slayer shirt or a Cannibal Corpse show in a Cannibal Corpse shirt. Nobody should look at you sideways because that's just how it is.
Eh, I'll let it go.
That's my take. All right. Now we're back in the new metal world. www.psi.com, pitchshifter.com for Pitch Shifter. So
Yep.
this is the third album. The first album was Desensitized, a very, very aggressive and abrasive industrial. Second album, which is not on streaming, Infotainment, which I think is probably one of their better albums. And then they dropped this monster, pitchshifter.com.
Yeah. That's a stud for me. That's a great record.
We've never deep dove on this, have we?
No, we have not. We've talked about them many, many times, but we've never talked about that record.
Hmm.
I think it's on our list, our master list of stuff to do, but we
I
just
definitely
never
think
did
it's
it.
on our list of unscripted. So I think you may be right. Yeah.
I think it might
Oh,
just be on our list, actually. But
we have lists. We have lists of lists. It's kind of wild. We have lists of bands to reach out to. We have lists. It's insane. Uh, I fucking love this album. Again, I've told my MTV Spring Break story where they and Limp Bizkit played. It was awesome. It's awesome. A perfect mix of new metal with a little bit of some dancey industrial stuff with it, and Jazz Clayton puts on a great show. He's a great frontman.
yeah.
So I'm fucking
What's that?
sold.
What's that one song? Is it microwaved on that record?
Microwaved.
Yeah.
Microwaved and Genius were the two big songs off that album.
I'll give that a stud. That's a good record.
I actually think I have almost all of their live albums they've released on Bandcamp. I think I've bought almost all of them,
That does not
which
surprise me at
is
all.
which is sick. All right,
I would
we're
love
getting
to
away.
see your lifetime to date a present of how much you've spent on fucking Bandcamp.
I think I actually have over 1,000 purchases. I think it tells you. Wait a minute, I can tell you in my
Like
library.
it tells you American dollars spent.
In my library, I have in my collection. I have 514 albums.
God damn.
And the original stuff I bought, like if I go all the way back, this was the side pro. It was the side project of the guy who did he was from Agoraphobic Nosebleed. It was shit. That stuff doesn't even. I'm all the way back at the beginning. That doesn't even show up anymore.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Wait a minute, Siamese Royalty. It was on what was the name of that label? Dude, I don't remember the name of the label.
Was it the same label that did the Converge split?
No, it was the guy that did. Doesn't say. It was the guy that did. He was one half of Agoraphobic Nosebleed, and he had this fucked up label that he owned,
I
and he
don't
would put out
remember.
all sorts of weird, crazy. Um, yeah, this really bothers me, dude, because I'm looking all the way back, and if I well, I go to recently added, and I go all the way to the back to the beginning, and it is, yeah, it's the same thing. I got he did it was like grindcore karaoke
Mm.
was the label I think, which is kind of nuts. But yeah, I have 400 something, 514 in my collection,
God
and
damn.
my wish list doesn't give you a sum total. Um, Kind of wild. Yeah, I buy all my shit. Okay, next we're moving into hardcore. Poison the Well. You Come Before You.
Mm.
I knew this is going to be an interesting one. So, for those listeners that aren't familiar, Florida hardcore band. I didn't count the first album. It was like an
I
EP
was
with
gonna
two
say
vocalists.
you don't count the EP. I wouldn't
Distance
either.
makes the heart grow fonder. No, but I did count. So, Opposite of December, Tear from the Red, and then You Come Before You, which was their major label. This was Atlantic. They flew to Europe and recorded in Sweden somewhere. Um, and it was a little bit of a sound departure stylistically. So, what did you think, Tim?
That's a dud for me, man. I do not like that record. There's a couple good tracks, but I do not like that record. I don't really care for a lot of the stuff they did after Tear from the Red, honestly. It's that they're I don't th- I understand the stylistic change. I get all that, but it's just like it was a stylistic change where I was just like, oh nah. I don't know. There's just something about them songs that just do not grab me for some reason. I know you love them records though.
So here's the thing. So this came out what, 2003? Yeah. So Ghost Champ,
That's a good track.
Zombies Are Good for Your Health, Crystal Lake, even Pleasant Bullet, right? There were some really good songs on it, but I wanted more of that Opposite of December sound, which Tear from the Red was a fair add-on to Opposite of December. Like it was a good next step. I liked this. I saw them play. I think it was the Sounds of the Underground off this album. But
I'll tell you this though. If Tear from the Red had the recording of Opposite of December, it might be a better record. The recording on Tear from the Red is
yes,
fucking trash.
yes, it's not good.
It
It's not
sounds
good.
it sounds like they took all the low out and just mid it and just put mid all over everything. You can't even hear the kick drum. Oh god, it's a terrible fucking recording. I will die on
Mm,
that hill. I say that to everybody and they're like, "What? What dude, what are you listening to? It sounds terrible."
mm.
What are you kidding me? The fucking EP sounds better than that.
Yeah, it's not a.
Oh god,
It's
it's
not good.
terrible. The
It's not
songs are
good.
so good and the recording is fucking garbage. It's straight garbage. I could
Uh,
mix that fucking record better.
did you listen to anything after this?
Dude, not really. I listened to like them EPs they did. Like I don't get me wrong, they have good tracks on these records, but I just
Hmm.
as a whole it's a dud for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the same. I'm gonna say the same. I checked out after this. I didn't really check out versions, right, which was all the EPs that they eventually did as an album. The Tropic Rot was their last song, last
Eh,
album. There were some good songs on it. The Pamplemousse,
yeah, yeah.
right? There was some good stuff on it, but it it kind of lost me. My taste was also changing. This came out in 2009. I was in a different place, and we've talked about from 2006 to 2010. I was basically out of music. I wasn't really going to shows and anything. Um, but yeah, it just didn't really land for me. This is
It's a
it's a
dud.
dud for me. It's a dud for me.
I'm gonna go back and listen to all these records this week though.
I should make a giant. I'll send you the list. I'll send you the list. All right. Next up, curious to hear what you think about this one. Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on. You should know this by now. That's a brilliant record. There's just so many good songs on that.
You don't
Oh
think it would
man.
have been better as a single disc LP?
No. No. It was perfect. I don't need it in
Hmm.
two different releases. Just give me it all.
Hmm. Really?
I love it.
I I I kind of think that sometimes it gets a little bit long in the tooth. Like there's some. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amazing songs on this album, right? So somewhat damaged. The data world went away. The wretched. We're in this together. The fragile, just like you imagined, right? The great below. To me, that's an album right there. That's one album that would have been a monster, right? And that was 54 minutes. The
Absolutely.
second the second disc, okay, Starfuckers Inc. Into the Void had some moments, but I think most bands when they do a two-disc album, they're trying to do the Wall, and you're never going to do the Wall. So just leave it alone. I think it's a great album, but I think it could have been a healthy bit of editing and arrangement and tightening up a bit. I think it could have been a monster album.
Healthy bit of condensing.
Yes, yes. Instead of 23 total songs, cut it down to a really tight 11.
Well, what's the track where it's like dan 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 dan?
You know what? I need to go back and listen.
God, that song is so fucking good. Why am I forgetting the title of it? The
Oh, you
chorus,
bum
you
bum bum.
remain.
Oh yeah, that's where is it? That's we're in this together.
Yeah, that's a fucking amazing song.
Yes, 7 minutes.
Yeah, I don't
7
care. I
minutes.
fucking
This
love it.
was this was Trent high out of his mind, really indulging himself. I did see this tour.
Yep.
I saw this with a perfect circle. It was at was it the Spectrum or was it the FU Center?
It was Spectrum.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I
Good
love that
stuff.
band. I've seen them fucking 20 times probably. I love them.
I actually
That's a
haven't seen them since this
brilliant
show.
record. It's a
Since that
brilliant
show.
record, man.
I we
It's not better than Downward, but it's a brilliant fucking record.
I'm gonna go out on a totally insane limb, and if my buddy Guzzy is listening, he's gonna scream. I actually think With Teeth is a better album. And I fucking hated that album when it came out. I was so mad. I hated it so much. I think With Teeth is a better album.
I can't. I can't do it. I can't agree with
we're
that at all.
we're gonna have to. I'm gonna make a note. We're gonna have to come back with Teeth. All
With
right.
the teeth.
Yeah, with teeth. I used to call Guzzy. I used to call him. He would pick up. I would yell that into the phone and hang up. And we would leave that as voicemail messages for each other back when people used to leave voicemail. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fucking
So
amazing, actually. With the
so
teeth.
it's a stud for you and a dud for me. Okay. Uh, this could be an interesting
I
one.
cannot believe you're giving Fragile a dud. That's fucking
It's too
out of
long.
control.
It's too long and too indulgent, too self-indulgent. Earth Crisis, Breed the Killers.
Pff, absolute stud.
Okay. Why?
Dude, the riffs on that record are so fucking tough. I love it. I remember when that came out, I picked up my guitar and I was like, this isn't drop D. Hold on one second. Just fucking tune it down. I was like, yeah, shred that whole record instantly. It's so easy to play, but them riffs are tough, dude. That's their best record, in my opinion.
Mm.
I love that record.
You want to talk about a strong opinion?
That's their best
Um,
record. I
I
love the live one too.
California Takeover or The Oath That Keeps Me Free.
The Oath That Keeps Me Free.
Yes.
That's a fucking great record. I
Yeah.
love it.
I like this album, but for me, there's maybe out of 10, 11 songs, there's three or four that are the opener is a fucking banger. That riff, that banana banana,
Yeah.
open the room up, dude, hit somebody.
Yo,
But
Ultra Militants.
it just doesn't sustain. Here we go. It doesn't sustain for me. It's a great album, right? Great songs, but it just kind of becomes a one trick pony for me after a bit.
I love it. Like, dan, 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 dan.
I am going to give it a stud though, because it is a stud.
I love that record, man.
But it's
Heavy as
just
balls. It's
that
fucking. I mean, simple riffs, but they just made that shit perfect.
would it have been more popular if they did Slither first, then this?
No, absolutely not.
You don't think? Because I
No,
think Slither is the album that Roadrunner wanted. I think if I
well,
remember that Scott Krause interview, they wanted Slither and Roadrunner. They gave Roadrunner Breed the Killers, and after this, they were off. They were back on Victory, and then with Victory, their comeback record was Slither.
maybe, maybe, may I'll go
I don't
maybe
know.
on that
I
one.
don't know. We should find some old school hardcore kid like reach him in and like, yo, what do you think?
The more I listen to Slither, though, I actually think it's a good record.
Oh, I think it's a great record. It's one of those. It wasn't what the fans wanted at the time, but it is a perfect encapsulation of where they were, what they were doing, and where they were going.
Yeah, definitely. Oh
All
yeah,
right,
that's a stud for me.
next one. This might create some debate or not. Volume 3 by Slipknot.
Ugh, stud.
Yeah.
I hate that record.
Same. The angry parts are really, really angry. The blasty parts are really blasty, but you got Stone Sour in my Slipknot.
Yeah, you've said that many times.
The intro, the fact that the intro is him singing and it's just fucking. I get it. Uh, but I will say, my favorite album of theirs is Iowa. My second favorite is the self-titled.
Yep.
My third favorite is All Hope Is Gone. The album after this.
I agree with the first two. I don't know what my third would be, honestly.
Because I went back and listened to that after that Dave Fortner interview that Ryan Rainbow did, and it was you can hear a lot of the stuff that he was talking about. I mean, it was Joey and Paul just writing heavy shit.
I remember arguing with one of my good friends. We were like in my bait. We were down here one night, and he was just like, "Oh, Slipknot, one of the best bands ever." And I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." But like, I just picked my guitar up and I was like, "I'm gonna play you all of their songs right now on guitar." He's like, "Get the fuck out of here." Not, I mean, I didn't play all their songs, but I just played like the riff that they use on every fucking song and just played it in different variations. And he's like, "Motherfucker." I was like, "I told you, dude, they use the same riff in every fucking song. They just vary it every fucking time." And I've argued with many people about this. I'm like, dude, it's just 2-3, 2-3, 0-2-3, and just vary it. And it's the fuck. That's what they base every song off of. Don't get me wrong, cool. They made it huge, but they're not as special as people think they are. I don't really think they're not. They're not bad guitar
Unfortunately,
players.
no.
I mean, yeah, they have more riffs than that, but most of their fucking songs are all the same shit. And people listen, whatever. You probably disagree. I don't really care.
It's everybody's entitled to their opinion. Just some people's opinions are wrong. All right, next one. Hatebreed, Rise of Brutality.
I knew this was coming. I fucking knew this was on here.
So while you're thinking, here's my logic. I loved the self-title. Like if they not self-title, if they had made Satisfaction 20 times, like the hardcore version of AC/DC, I would have complained. Ever would have complained. I thought Satisfaction was great. I loved Perseverance, even though there were a couple songs on the late in the B side where I'm like, you're probably gonna cut these. This album, when it came out, I loved it. I went back and listened to it a while later. I'm like, this isn't great. And then recently I have come to appreciate it again. This is them going way more towards a old school New York hardcore type band.
All right. We're not counting Under the Knife, obviously.
No,
Love Under the Knife. Satisfaction is the best hardcore record ever made.
that's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
right. What's after Satisfaction? It's
Perseverance.
Perseverance. That's an amazing record. I fell off of that record and was like, it's not that good. I re-listened to it like a year ago and I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? That's a fucking great record. Rise of Brutality, it has its moments. It just doesn't stick with me. Maybe, like I said, I have to go back and listen to all these records on your list because I could be sitting here like, yeah, record's not that good. And then I put it on and be like, you know what? I'm a fucking idiot. Same thing with
I,
Perseverance. And then when I seen them live with BLS a couple years ago, I was like, they played a lot of them songs, and I was like, these fucking songs, dude, they hit, dude. Like they hit, especially live, man.
yeah, yeah.
Rise of Brutality, it's not bad, dude. It's just for me, I would call it a dud right now because I wouldn't go and listen to it. If you tell me to put on a Hatebreed record, I'm gonna put on Perseverance, honestly, because it has more of a, like I said, Satisfaction is the best hardcore record ever made. I think 90% of hardcore kids would probably tell you the same thing. But Perseverance just has that flair to it where I'm like, yeah, dude. Like it's simple, it's fucking heavy, it's in your fucking face at all times. I love the production on it. It's just they just missed me with Rise of Brutality. That's just my opinion.
It's fair. It's fair. Uh, Looking at the track listing, Tear It Down is the intro, right? You
Good,
got
that's a good song.
straight to your face, facing what consumes you, live for this, doomsayer, right? Another day, another vendetta. A lesson lived is a lesson learned. Beholder of justice. This is now. They could have stopped the album there, and it would have been a monster. But then
Okay,
you have voice of contention, choose to be chosen,
let me
confide in no
stop
one.
you. I'm sorry. Let me stop you. I'm gonna eat my words again. Now that you said all them tracks, yeah, that's a good record. Honestly, actually,
Yeah,
you know what
I
you know what I think I'm thinking of. What's the one after that?
the self-titled.
Maybe
No,
that's what I'm.
supremacy. Supremacy is
Supremacy.
the one
Yeah,
after that.
I think is that the one with the lions on it.
No, that's for the Lions. That's
No.
after that.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right. That's
And
right.
then
That's
there's
the cover
Hatebreed. Then
record.
there's a Divinity and Purpose, the Concrete Confessional. My God, like Jesus, these guys keep putting shit out.
All right, Rise of Brutality. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna eat my words live on this show. Yeah, that's a good record. I think I'm
But
mixing it up with something.
well, you're probably mixed up with the next one, which is terrible.
It's just Supremacy.
Yes, Defeatist is the opening
Oh,
track,
yeah.
but then like
Absolutely.
To the Threshold, Give Wings to My Triumph, Destroy Everything is a good fucking song, right? Like, um, I always think of the live album where they're at Harpo's in Detroit and they're about to go to the breakdown of Destroy Everything. I think it's Destroy Everything, or maybe it's Doomsayer, and he says, "I want everybody right now. I want you to fucking lose your mind. I don't care if you're in the bathroom taking a shit." Like I just start laughing because I'm like, that's baller right there. Okay.
That's funny.
So we're both
Death
putting it down
metal
as
and
a stud.
push-ups.
Death metal coffee and push-ups.
That's right.
So
Yeah. I'm
next
eating my
one,
words live on the show. Yeah, it's a good record. As soon as you name the songs, I'm like, wait a minute, what am I thinking here?
next one, I think we're both going to agree, but I've got to throw it out there. The Renaissance, E Town Concrete.
Why you gotta do this to me?
This is a fucking stud album, dude. Are you kidding me? It starts with Mandibles, Metroid, More Than Incredible. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, no, I wasn't saying it was bad, but I do think this is where they start to veer off into the where I'm like, because some of
Mm.
them songs are bad. Like their first two records are absolute classics. When you get to that record, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I like some of these songs, but let's see, this is hard, man. I hate you for this one. I really do. Because I don't want to call it a stud. I don't want to call it a dud either. Like it's, I have to though. I have to re-listen to it, but right now it's a dud for me.
Okay. Okay. I think this is a stud. I think the next one's a dud. Made for War, I think is a dud. This had just enough of but I get where you're going. This is them kind of changing it. Back to the intro of the episode. They're trying to change their sound a bit. This was a little less aggressive, a little less hardcorey. There was way more stuff that could be an earworm,
Yeah.
maybe even get on the radio. I mean, More Than Incredible. More Than Incredible should have been on the radio, right? Metroid, great song. So Many Nights, Let's Go. Like, dude, I'm gonna listen to this album tomorrow morning. I'll be fired the fuck up, sitting in my desk.
Well,
Um,
I'm working from home tomorrow. Maybe I'll put it on
uh,
too.
Punch the Walls is a terrible song. Sorry, no offense, no offense. But I think this is a great album. But I agree. I see where you're coming from. This is where they got away from hardcore and they started to get closer to the rap metally more. What's the right word for here? Not more
New.
commercial, not even more new metal, just more palatable. They got more palatable.
Yeah, I mean, and then it just shows you on Made for War that it was ultra palatable.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not we're gonna pretend that was never existed. All right, this one, I think we're gonna both agree.
Not gonna lie though, one of my all-time bucket list fucking guests, Anthony.
Oh, you had him on?
No, I would love to.
Oh, we should be able to get him on.
Yeah, we should.
And they put on a fucking awesome live show.
Oh
They
yeah,
were
they're amazing
so
live.
amazing at This Is Hardcore last year. Like I was in the back with my mouth open, like, holy shit, these guys are how old and they're killing it.
Yeah, they've been every time I've seen them, amazing.
I always think of that show that Anthony they did where they cut the mic and Anthony did the whole thing and the all everybody in the venue was singing karaoke with them. It was great.
Love it. Yeah, great fucking band. Time to Shine is a fucking masterpiece.
So different when it came out. All right. I think we're going to agree on this one. Ministry, The Land of Rape and Honey.
Mm. You go.
Uh, my first experience with Ministry was Psalm 69, and then I worked my way backwards. I went all the way back and went to Twitch and went, what the fuck is this? Uh, and then I started dating my wife who's older than me, and I was going through her CDs, and she had both With Sympathy and Twitch, and I was like,
Fuck
do you
yeah.
know what these guys actually turned into? I think this album is near perfect Ministry, and for a couple of reasons. This is their third album, but their first album. And I mean that in a sense of this is their third album that they've released as a band. This is the first album where they were on a new label and they were like, well, fuck you. We're doing what we want to do. And he purposely made it abrasive and obnoxious and just grating. And are you kidding me? The Deity, The Missing, um, I think So What's on this album,
Yep.
right? I think Hezbollah is on this album. Are you kidding me? Like this is amazing, amazing album, and
It's good.
he hit right in that spot of just utter disrespect. Like that's the word I think of when I think of this album. It's just disrespectful. It's like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm gonna do this. You don't like it? Get stuffed. I don't care.
And it's very, very influential on what came out after.
Oh, he had basically invented a genre.
Yeah,
You know, people
absolutely.
always talk about Nine Inch Nails. Yes, they came around about the same time, but he invented a genre.
Yeah, it's super, like you said, it's super fucking abrasive. I mean,
Hmm.
I think a Ministry is one of them bands where you have to be into that type of music to actually enjoy it, because there's a lot of people who listen to Ministry and they're just like, I just don't get it. And I totally understand where they're coming
Yes,
from, because you have to have not like an ear for it, but you have to, it's a mood. They're a mood band.
yes, yes,
Like they're a band where like not saying you have to be in the mood for it. They're a mood band. You know,
yes.
you get what I'm saying?
Yes, they have a vibe that goes
Exactly.
with
Yes.
that music. And so I went back and looked. The lead off track is the longest song of the album, Stigmata, which is not one of my favorites, but it's a live stable. But then it's The Missing, Deity, Golden Dawn, Destruction, Hezbollah, The Land of Rape and Honey, You Know What You Are, I Prefer, and then the flashback.
Yeah.
Now, what
I
up,
mean,
man? Oh, oh,
even
yeah.
even at you know what you are, or yeah, even at that track, it's still a good record.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause there's not many records that you go to like the second to last track and you're just like, this is good. There's a lot of like, especially in the '90s, because there's a lot of records in the '90s where like the band veered off at that time, where it's just like, all right, you could have did without this one. But that record's solid all the way through. That's a stud for me.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. All right, dude, we're an hour in and we're halfway through. Do we want to do a second episode or do we just want to keep going and make this all one big one?
Ah, well, let's cut it into two. How many did
All
we go
right.
through?
We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We did 13 so far. And we have left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So
So,
why don't we make it 30? We'll do 15, and then we'll do 15 again.
okay. So this was 13, 14. So we got two more. All right.
Yeah, I'm sure you can come up with five more, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. If I did put some thought to it. Okay, so we'll do two more. Oh man, we're gonna cause a fight with the last two. All right, so uh, Tool, Lateralis.
What the
So we
fuck?
know what you're gonna say. I'm gonna go. I think this is a dud,
Me too.
and I think this is a dud. Here's why. Anima was an amazing album.
Yeah.
Undertow was an amazing album. This is them establishing a sound, building on it, doing all sorts of great shit. Lateralis, I mean, The Grudge is a great, like, you want to talk about a fucking monster opening song? That is a great opener. But after that, it truly is hit or miss.
Very, very, very hit or
Like,
miss.
was it Parabola? And I mean, the song Lateralis is great, right? The last song. Is it Lateralis? Yes, the song Lateralis is great, but Schism is just okay. The Patient is not a fan. Parabola was all right. Ticks and Leeches. Yeah, Reflection. That's the song I'm thinking of. Um, Fantastic. But this is a dud for me.
Very much a dud for me as well.
And then they waited fucking 20 years and they put out fucking no, they waited 5 years to do 10,000 Days, which I actually think is a better album.
Absolutely.
The Pot, Vicarious, John Beat, like great. But when and then they waited well, then they waited 13 years to do Fear Inoculum, which I thought was good, but every single song sounds the same.
13 years.
Yes. They did 10,000 Days in 2006, Fear Inoculum in 2019.
Well, he was doing what?
He was doing Pussifer.
And then he was doing.
The
When
the
did he
other
put out
Oh, A Perfect Circle was
Perfect
in that
Circle?
time too. Yeah.
I forgot about Pusfer, yeah.
I liked Fear Inoculum because it was one big giant song. It all sounded the same. I thought 10,000 Days was great, but Lateralis, it's
Yeah,
good, but
that's a for me too. That's a dud. That's another mood band for me. Like you have to be in the mood to. That's a band you have to be in the mood to listen to.
yes, yes. Well, I will say this. For Undertow, the first album, no. Because why? Here the songs are all 3 to 4 minutes. They're meant to be like uh consumptive. You can digest them fairly quickly. Once you get into Anima, where you have 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 minute songs,
Fucking hooker with a penis.
but I'm sorry, but what does it open with? It opens with oh, I forget, but it's Eulogy, H, 46 and 2, Hooker with a Penis,
Yeah,
Anima, like great songs. But you have to be in the mood because you're sitting in. It's 6, 7, 8 minute songs. Like
yeah,
you're dug in. You're
yeah.
dug in.
That's the band you have to be in the mood, not a mood band. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So the last one we will do for this half of the episode: Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water by Limp Bizkit.
Give me some tracks off here because I totally forget.
Okay. So it starts with the song where he says fuck 36 times. Um First song is Hot Dog,
Mm.
My Generation, Full Nelson,
Yeah.
My Way, Rollin', Living It Up, The One, Get Your Groove On with Exhibit, Take a Look Around, It'll Be Okay, Boiler, Hold On with Scott Weiland, and then then you have the Rollin' rap remix with Redman, DMX, and Method Man.
This is a hard one too.
So I'm going to say this is a stud, and here's why. If you look at their career trajectory, this is the apotheosis. This is the top of the mountain for them and what they were trying to do. It was abrasive, it was aggressive, but it was still irreverent. It was funny. It had its moments. This was, I mean, they filmed a video on top of the World Trade Center, right,
Yeah,
for
you're right.
Roland, right? I mean, this was them at the absolute height of everything they were going to do. And after this, everything went to shit. West leaves, Results May Vary comes out with we talked about this with Alex. It was okay. Then he eventually comes back. You have The Unquestionable Truth Part 1, which is great. You have Gold Cobra, and then you have the newest album. I think this is a stud because this is them at the absolute top of their game.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give this stud actually too because I do like a lot of the songs on that record. Roland's a great song.
Dude, Roland, my generation, My Way,
Yeah,
go
they're good songs.
uh the Mission Impossible song, Take a Look Around, Boiler. Boiler is a sneaky, amazing track on that album.
Yeah, I'll give it a stud.
And then there's the song that they did with Wyland in the background is fucking amazing.
I
It's
don't remember
amazing.
that track for some reason.
Hold on, you gotta get you gotta dig in. It's buried in the B side, and he sings like backups. He's doing like a harmony in the back. It's great.
I'll listen to that tomorrow too.
Yeah, this is gonna be good stuff. All right, so we're gonna go to here, folks. So if you have any suggestions for albums that should go on the second list, please send us a message to newbreed underscore podcast on both Twitter and Instagram, newbreedpodcast@gmail.com, 267-297-4627. If you actually want to leave your voice recording of what you think should go on this list, find us on Facebook in our group. Find us on r/numetal. New episodes every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern. Reaction vids every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. On behalf of Tim, myself, I want to thank you for tuning in, watching, listening. And until next time, this is a New Breed Podcast saying cheers.
Later.